Hey, welcome back to this terrific Tuesday edition of Liquid Lunch. I'm John Tobacco, coming to you from the Newsmax headquarters in New York City. We're in the Question Tequila studios, and we're buzzing along today with so much good stuff in the news, but take a little time here to talk to Gary S. Goldman, nationally recognized host of Business, Politics, and Lifestyles, weekly talk show on WCRN 830 in the metro Boston area in Massachusetts. Gary, thank you for joining us today on Liquid Lunch. Really appreciate you taking out some time. What's happening up in the Boston metro area? Do you hear Gary?
I don't. I was wondering if you heard him.
Okay, maybe we lost Gary.
Can people see him?
This might be an appropriate time to take a sip of these nondescript cups in front of us. It's always great for some coffee.
In the meantime,
speaking of Gary S. Goldman, I do want to say a very special hello to a good family friend, Goldie. Goldie was one of my father's dearest friends, and I just found out recently from his son Rob that he's a regular viewer of the show. So,
hello, Goldie.
Richmond County, Staten Island, and Goldie, thank you for tuning in. He's a very special person.
Is that short for Goldilocks?
Well, it's just a nickname, okay? And we don't disclose the last names of our fellow friends and viewers in Staten Island.
But I will disclose the name of my friend Dennis Pedoff, who's watching us right now.
There you go.
Thank you, Dennis.
Hello, Dennis Pedoff.
A great guy and a mentor of mine, and someone that is not at all fond of Rashida Tlaib. Now, Rashida Tlaib, you'll recall, wanted to go to the border, and she was allowed to, not the border, she wanted to go to Palestine, visit her grandmother. She was allowed to. You won't believe her response. We'll play it for you a little later. But I think we have Gary Goldman back. Gary, can you hear us?
Yes, we do. Gary, thanks for joining us again.
I'm not sure what's going on today.
Well, we got you, and let's make the most of it because we want to hear what's happening with business, politics, and lifestyles. It seems like Trump had this meeting with Tim Cook, and people are saying that Cook might be trying to talk him out of all these China tariffs. What say you?
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work out for us with Gary. You know what? We'll try and connect with Gary another day. It's clearly it's not meant to be. The Skyping gods are not meant to be.
The Skype gods are not with us today.
Well, so as I was talking about Rashida Tlaib, she does this big press conference yesterday in which she was talking about how horrible Donald Trump is, how horrible Netanyahu is, how horrible Israel was. And here's a little bit of what Rashida Tlaib did yesterday. She did a press conference with Ilhan Omar.
I think my grandmother said it beautifully when she said, I'm her asfur. Asfur in Arabic means her bird. And she said, I'm her dream manifested. I am her free bird. So why would I come back and be caged and bow down when my election rose her head up high, gave her dignity for the first time? And so through tears at 3 o'clock in the morning, we all decided as a family that I could not go until I was a free American United States Congresswoman coming there not only to see my grandmother, but to talk to Palestinian and Israeli organizations that believed that my grandmother deserved human dignity as much as anyone else does.
Now, again, to be clear, I think Netanyahu and the Israeli government was absolutely wrong to ban these two congresswomen. I think that sent exactly the wrong message. However, they allowed her to go see her grandmother, and now she's saying, well, I don't want to go just see my grandmother. I want to go and speak to a bunch of Palestinian organizations. Now, that tells me this trip was never about her seeing her grandmother. Maybe she would have stopped in and said hello, but this was about fomenting anti-America and anti-Israeli sentiment within the Middle East. So she never had any interest in seeing her grandmother. She was using her grandmother as a vehicle to grandstand. And I have a feeling what you saw from Omar and Tlaib yesterday, and I don't even like focusing on them too much because they're 2 members of Congress out of 535, I think gives them too much credibility. But I think this is a perfect example of what the folks that prohibited her from going to Israel were afraid that she was going to do in Israel.
The first thing is this. What is she crying about? If she wanted to go see her grandmother, she was free to do it.
Right.
You know, was it a little bit of Was it a little bit of a ticky-tack in the beginning for Netanyahu to say they're not welcome? Yes, but cooler minds prevailed. They backed off and said, hey, you're welcome to come. And there was no restrictions on what you can do. And as others have pointed out, there were other ways for her to get there without going through Israel. So I'm with you. This whole thing was a grandstand from the beginning. And when she says she shouldn't go back and be caged,
who's caging her?
No one's caging her. And no one was restricting her. The whole thing is just a grandstand. You know, it's the more these people keep themselves, and when I say these people, the squad keeps themselves in the limelight politically, the more it allows Donald Trump to point to them and identify the entire Democratic Party with the policies and ideologies of these people.
A little bit of news today, John. The forthcoming Democratic debate is taking place next month, I believe, in Texas. And just within the last couple of hours, there's news that a 10th Democrat has now qualified for the debate stage. He's met their threshold.
Marianne Williamson?
No, it is Secretary Castro, who's also, of course, from Texas.
Okay.
He's going to be on that debate stage. That makes 10.
How did he qualify?
So you have to meet two criteria. You have to go, which I think is just idiotic, but you have to get over, I believe it's 2% in 4 national polls, 2% or over in 4 national polls, and you also need a minimum of 130,000 contributors, and I think you need a certain number of contributors in 20 different states. So apparently he's met all of those criteria. And so you'll get to see Mr. Castro speaking Spanish on that debate stage.
How much money are these polling companies making right now from all these candidates? Because they're like, they got to be out there poll shopping. Like, please get me the 2.
Well,
get me the 2%. Whatever you have to do.
And you know why this is so absurd is because I'm getting nothing but constant Twitter ads from Tom Steyer asking me to donate $1. Right, because he needs so he's spending far more than he's going to get back in donations, and I'm never going to vote for Tom Steyer. So it's forcing candidates like Steyer and Gillibrand to target their ads towards folks that are never going to consider voting for them in order to meet this idiotic DNC debate criteria. Now, if you're a Democrat watching this, and I know we have some Democratic viewers, but if you're a Democrat watching this, why would you ever want Frank Morano's contribution determining who you get to see in the debate?
Yeah, and if it costs 5 to get 1, it's a losing proposition. But
Excuse me.
That's how crazy our politics are. It's going to get crazier in the last 20 minutes here. You stay right there. Liquid Lunch coming back at you. 2 minutes.